with Miranda Kahn alongside. It just makes me stutter. I'm just so happy to have you here.
That's so sweet of you.
Miranda Kahn's right there, J.D. Hayworth right here, and you joining us again on America's Forum. We're also joined now by the CEO of WalletHub.com, Odysseas Papadimitriou. Odysseas, it's great to have you with us as you Skype in today. And again, you find these different ratings. Today, you've got the best and worst cities. You've got the best and worst cities for July 4th celebrations. Before we take a look at the list, can you give us the criteria that factored into your rankings?
Yeah, absolutely. We looked at 14 different metrics, all the way ranging from how is the weather forecast for July 4th in each of the 100 largest cities, to how easy it is to walk around and enjoy the outdoors on each city, looking at public swimming pools on a per capita basis, basketball courts. We even looked at the legality of fireworks at each state, and also we even looked at cost, very important, about alcohol prices, hotel prices, gas prices, and tried to find the cities that offer the most fun but without breaking the bank.
All right, so you even figured in the cost of adult beverages. You've been very thorough at WalletHub.com. So give us the top 5. What are the best cities in America for 4th of July celebrations?
Sure. So number 1 is Richmond, Virginia. Number 2 is Irvine in California. Number 3 is Cincinnati. 4 is Oakland. And number 5 is the nation's capital, Washington, D.C.
But of course, you expect D.C. to be on the list, right?
Sure.
What
Yeah,
about...
of course, Wallet Hub is based there, after all.
Right. Now, okay, what about the worst cities?
Yeah, a lot of North Carolina cities, unfortunately, made it toward the bottom of our list. The bottom 5, in particular, consist of Toledo in Ohio, Lubbock in Texas, Greensboro, North Carolina, Anchorage in Alaska, and dead last is Durham in North Carolina.
Odysseas, you know, I mean, I may have represented Arizona in the Congress, but I'm a native North Carolinian. And I take a look at this list, and I don't know, do you have an animus against the Tar Heel State? I mean, let's take a look. You've got these North Carolina cities on your list, worst places to celebrate. You already mentioned Durham at 100 and Greensboro at 98, but I see 3 more North Carolina cities on here.
10 is dominated by North Carolina cities. Charlotte is on 94, and Winston is on 94, and Winston-Salem is on 95. The things that, so they have some common characteristics. Number 1, unfortunately, they are not forecasted to have a nice weather on July 4th. Actually,
yeah, but wait a second. We know about Hurricane Arthur now, but you didn't have that clairvoyance. You didn't have that clairvoyance back when you were putting this together. Come on now.
Well, we had a weather forecast, and it was 10 days out, and you know, it was one of these rare cases where the weather forecasters got it right, and they were forecasting rain. They were not forecasting the hurricane, but they were definitely forecasting rain, which was a big hit. You definitely don't want a July 4th with rain, and very high temperatures as well.
Well, I will admit that the southeastern United States can be, and at least you didn't have my hometown of High Point on the list, Odysseas. You did have Greensboro and Winston-Salem. You did have Greensboro and Winston-Salem, 2 of the other cities in the Piedmont Triad down there. But go ahead, people in on Durham and your relationship to Durham, North Carolina. Tell everybody.
Sure. So I went to
Tell everybody.
Sure. So I went to school in Durham, and so I can attest firsthand that it's not one of the most pleasant cities to walk around, other than it doesn't have much pedestrian sidewalks, and even when we looked at the hard data around swimming pools and basketball courts, those are scoring below average on walkability, which was scored actually by a different organization that just focuses on that. It scored 92, but that's not a surprise, having been there and spent quite some time in Durham. So unfortunately, Durham seems to also be pretty expensive on some key categories like wine, ranking number 78. So we'd expect it, with being a smaller city, to be a little bit more competitive on the pricing. but that's not necessarily even true.
Yeah, you may not be able to go back for a while now after saying this, right? Not welcome back. Speaking of the cost of wine, what do you expect 4th of July?
Yeah, actually, we did some projections based on data from previous years, and especially this 4th of July, by being on a Friday and a lot of people combining it on a long weekend, we're expecting the average American to be spending $330, which is a lot of money, and that's why cost was a key component into our study.
Well, $330, and you mentioned the weather, and I think about not the cities in North Carolina, but along the coastline there, the Grand Strand in South Carolina, the beaches in North Carolina, with Hurricane Arthur coming up the coast. Are you ready to amend the average expenditure, at least in the state of North Carolina?
Yeah, I think you're right that they will be spending much less, but unfortunately the fun will also go down with it.
And we should point out that the video we're seeing now, of course, is yesterday at the White House. Not any city in North Carolina, but the Federal Capital District, otherwise known as the District of Columbia.
So we, of course, want to...
Well, I'm in a lucky position to be in Washington, D.C., so I don't have to incur the additional cost of accommodation or traveling somewhere else. And with our study also confirming that it is indeed one of the best places to be, we will be staying in the city.
But I would imagine the city fathers in Washington may have a problem with this, Miranda, because Odysseas, you take a look at the list, and anyone who studies history, you've got Richmond down as #1. That was the capital of the Confederacy, and then our nation's capital, #5. Now, I guess you can say that was then, this is now, but you understand the historical implications, do you not?
Definitely.
So what would you say is the most cost-effective city? Because you keep bringing up the cost of money. You said $335 is about the average that you expect Americans to spend during the 4th of July holiday. What would you say is the most cost-effective
Got about 30
city?
seconds to answer this.
That's a good cost-effective would be Irvine in Texas, Richmond, Virginia is actually one of them that got to the top of the list because precisely of that reason. It's a medium-sized city, but the costs are more representative of a smaller-sized city. And #1 is actually Glendale, Arizona. So JD will be happy.
There you go. See?
There we go. Odysseas, thanks for a shout out to my friends in the Grand Canyon state of Arizona. We'll leave it there. Odysseas Papadimitriou, have a glorious 4th. Thanks for joining us, and we're coming back with more on America's Forum.